Hi, it's Jeff up in the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours. It is Tuesday at noon Eastern, where I like to spend about a half hour answering questions from people about job search. Now, before I go into the live Q&A or respond to questions from people that they've sent in advance, I just want to let you know that for the next 2 weeks, Christmas week and New Year's week, the show is going to be done on Wednesday at noon. So it's on the 27th and January 3rd. The reason is I don't think you're going to be available or want to talk on Tuesday. So I'm just pushing it back for these 2 weeks till Wednesday. And this will be on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Facebook. So you'll have access to that information there. The second thing I want to remind you of is between now and December 31st at I believe 11:30 p.m. you can get a discount on one-on-one or group coaching with me. My goal is to set up a group beginning in January, and what I'm offering is a discount from $1,000 per month, minimum 3 months, to eight to 2,500, which I think translates into 883. Well, I'm not exactly sure. So just consider it's going to be $2,500 for the 3 months. And that's a commitment you're going to have to make. And if you go to jobsearch.community, notice, sorry, the site above my finger, and you purchase Insider Premium membership, what you'll also get is all the information about my video courses, books, and guides. You'll also be able to ask me questions between sessions through the site to which I'll respond, plus 2 Zoom calls per month. And if you can't afford or you don't want to do group coaching with me, you can always order at jobsearch.community, become an insider member, and that's $49 a month currently. And you'll have access to all my video courses, books, and guides, and be able to ask me questions, which again, I tend to respond to within 24 hours. Or become an Insider Plus member, and that will be for $79 a month. You'll be able to get me on 2 Zoom calls per month, plus get everything I've mentioned up until this point from Insider membership. So again, go to jobsearch.community. There's lots of great information there to help you. Now, I just want to remind you, by the way, there's free video courses, books, and guides on the front page of the website. Again, jobsearch.community. And those are completely free. Go download them, enjoy them. They will help you. Now, again, put your questions into chat so I can help. And people have sent a number of questions to me in advance of the show, and I'll address those. And I just want to encourage you, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, get your questions into chat so I can answer them during the life of this show. Okay? So the first question, this is a classic. Why don't I get job interviews for the 50 plus applications I've sent when I have 1.6 years of experience and my resume had been proofread by a professional? Am I missing something? Heck yeah. You have less than 2 years. I'm making it easy for myself here. And the fact that your resume has been proofread is irrelevant to the equation. When firms hire, they want to see someone who fits their needs. And the fact that you've proofread your resume or had someone proofread your resume is expected. It's not anything special. After all, would you really want a resume to go out that had lots of grammatical errors or spelling errors or what have you? So, the fact that you've sent out 50 applications and you have this amount of experience and it's been proofread, All they care about on their side is that you have a background that fits what they're looking for, which is determined based upon a need that they have. That isn't what you've told me here. You've told me there's been proofread and you have this experience, but 50 applications for 50 jobs and you have the right background? I don't believe you. Really, that's simple. I don't believe you. So, you know, that's why, and that's what you're missing here that's causing you problems. Okay, let's go to our next question. What would you do if you were hired but don't like your job? Easy, look for another job. But I would probably first have a conversation with the hiring manager and just very simply say, you know, I'm new here. I'm a little confused. When we spoke, you described the role in this way, and that's really not what I'm experiencing here. And then you stay quiet. You listen to their answer. Well, this is what the job is. That isn't what you told me. Did I miss something here? Well, yeah, we have special work that needs to be done. How long do you think this special work is going to go on? As long as we need you to do it. Well, that basically tells you maybe you should be looking for something else instead of allowing someone to continue to lie to you. So I'll just simply say people need to ask a better class of questions at the end of the interview. Now, I've got a number of basics at jobsearch.community, and it's the course that I call the Ultimate Job Interview Framework, which teaches you how to interview. And amongst the things that it covers is good basic questions to ask at the end of an interview. And there's more. And you want to talk with the staff as you interview there about what it's like working there. Was there someone doing this job before? Why did they leave? They left for a better job. What made it a better job for them? They got paid more. Really? How much more did they get? Oh, I'm not exactly sure, but they knew they got paid more. Okay. And what kind of work did they go into? And what sort of things were they expressing while they worked there? Did they seem happy? Oh, they were very happy. Yeah, but why did they leave if they were really happy? I'm sure they could have negotiated a higher salary for themselves. What's that all about? And listen to see whether or not what you're told sounds believable to you. Because again, it's not just what they say, but how they say it as to whether or not you can trust them. If they think you can be lied to, well, they're going to lie to you once you're on board, right? You don't want to wind up in that kind of a situation. So just very simply ask questions, not and listen not just to what they say, but how they say it. Just determine if you trust them. Now, again, I'm just going to remind you if you've got a question about job search, put it into chat so I can answer it live. Okay. Here's another question I was asked. Okay, there it is. What can I expect in this second interview after doing the first interview? So it's hard to really say because I don't know who the first interview was with. If it was with a screener, translated with a corporate recruiter or talent acquisition person, then you're in a situation where this is the first interview with someone from the department. I don't know if they're a manager. I don't know if they're a member of the team. But what you can expect is them to dive into your knowledge that relates to the job description that you've seen or to the actual job as it exists. Now, one of the things I believe is job descriptions are at best 80% accurate because they evolve from the time they were approved by the organization until the time you walk in the door. So the result winds up being job descriptions morph and you're working off of old information. And you need to understand what it is they're really looking for, which is what I call the single best question you should ask on any interview, which I've covered many times. It's in my course, The Ultimate Job Interview Framework, that's available to you on jobsearch.community. Again, becoming an insider is $49 a month for all my video courses, which are listed on the front page, all my books and guides. There's 101 ways to find job leads. It's actually more like 117, but just a better title with 101 ways, right? Um, One of the free downloads is about elevator pitches. It's a way of doing an elevator pitch that doesn't make you seem disgusting or wanting other people to take a shower after they talk to you. Again, jobsearch.community is a wealth of information available that you can get on the site. And best of all, at any tier of membership, you have the ability to ask me questions. It's what I want to do is answer people's questions and help them land their next job. So on the second interview, if you've only met the screener, you're going to find someone going in deeper. It could be the hiring manager. It could be someone from the team. It could be several people from the team. Again, I don't know who you met the first time. Now, if you are interviewed by the hiring manager, it's likely you're going to be talking with a person or persons from their team because she or he's going to want to get buy-in from them that you're qualified. And often as a person becomes more senior, they're less capable of evaluating your knowledge because they're managing or they're leading or they have a director's title where they're not in the day-to-day work that you might be expected to do. So what you'll find is more depth on the second interview. They're not ready to hire you yet. They're still in the evaluation phase. So let's not jump the shark yet and get ahead of ourselves. You have to make them fall in love because unless they're in love with you, they're not going to hire. Okay. The next question. Let's see now. How do I find a career coach? Well, there's me. You can message me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the big game hunter. Minimally, I accept connection requests from people all over the world, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, unless you look like you're selling something to me. You can follow me under those circumstances, but you can contact me. Now, assuming I'm not the one that you want to work with, let me go further. And first of all, you can ask your friends, family members, or colleagues for referrals because often they have experience with the coach or they know something about the coach that makes them want to recommend you. You can do an online search for career coaches in your area or for virtual coaches. Obviously, you want people with positive reviews and testimonials. Professional organizations will have coaches, career centers, and career centers are normally associated with the unemployment office in your area, and they call it the career center for your area. And it's a certain type of job they have expertise with. You can also search on social media platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter because people like me and others have a strong presence on these platforms so that you get a sense of how we think and how we approach things. Then I would have a conversation with me or the other coach where you have a chance to get a sense of their background, qualifications, or experience in order to decide whether or not we can help you. Also, I'll say, pay attention to me on this show. After all, you know, if you don't have a good flavor for me, contact another coach. If you do have a good flavor for me and feel I can help, message me. We'll set up a time to talk and get to work with one another. Okay, so that's a couple of different ways that you can find a coach to help you. Where can you find support for putting together a resume or a cover letter? Well, there's AI. AI can help, but often that's going to be generic help and it may not meet your standards. Um, you can also look for resume writers and resume writers on LinkedIn and find people to help you. That's one thing I don't do. I don't write resumes or cover letters from scratch. I critique them. So you might hire someone else to write your resume and then have me review it afterwards. But do a search on LinkedIn for resume writer. Uh, you might want to look for someone who has the initials CPRW. Let me just repeat that. CPRW, which is Certified Professional Resume Writer, which is a certification for resume writers. And thus, they meet certain minimum standards or minimal standards for being a resume writer. And that may be another way that you can narrow down a pretty broad field. You can also message someone like me or me, and I can give you some recommendations of resume writers or people who can write your LinkedIn profile for you. So that's a couple of ways that you can find someone to help your resume and help write your resume or cover letter. And frankly, they're not cheap. So just be aware of the fact that when you're hiring someone, this is not a $99 purchase. It's going to be more expensive than that. Should you remove your college graduation year from your resume? My first reaction is, I don't know. If you're a relatively new professional, no. If you're a relatively seasoned professional, yes. Um, and I put it later in the document. If your grades were terrible, I put your degree later in the document, following all your experience. But as a very experienced person who comes out of a great school, I lead with the education. And if you got 20 years of experience, well, that's going to show up in your resume in terms of what your experience is. So they can do math. And I'll just simply say, at my age, a person who had 20 years of experience would be in their uh, early 50s. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm in my 70s. So you might just simply remove it and minimize the ancient experience, because if someone wants to hire you based upon work that you did in 1974, you probably don't want to do that work, right? So, yes, it can come off your resume at this stage and make it seem, well, make your resume focused on the last 10 years of your career. And then before that, you can say prior experience was with, where I was responsible for. Okay. I'm just going to remind you, put your questions about job search into chat so I can help you. Let's keep going. Okay. Uh, why is it important to persevere and keep applying for jobs, even if you haven't secured an interview after a layoff? Let me just get that into chat. There we go. And then up on the screen. So the answer is, unless you do the work, you're not going to get the job. And when I hear about important to persevere, well, it tells me your search has been going on for a long time. Thus, you need to learn how to job search better, which is really why I created JobSearch.community, because most people who job hunt are amateurs. You think you know what you're doing, but really don't. If you did, you'd be getting interviews. And I don't care how bad you think the job market is, and it's not great, but you'd wind up landing by now. So the goal here very simply is to find your next job. And if you do that, if you keep getting out there and talking to people and networking and applying and making yourself more visible so that people know about you and want to contact you without you having to reach out to them, you will get many more interviews. So that's why it's important to persevere. When someone talks about perseverance, they feel defeated. They're struggling. They need help. I want to help. JobSearch.community will help you. And other people will be on the site to answer your questions. And if for some reason they don't, I'll answer your questions. So again, go to JobSearch.community, become a member, learn, get better, practice answers to tough interview questions. Let's see that. There we go. JobSearch.community. Practice your answers to interview questions. Rehearse everything you do so that in this way, people want to talk to you. That's what you're going for. People talking to you. Let's see now. Oh, did I do something wrong here? There it is. I wasn't seeing the questions emailed to me or messaged to me, and I was concerned I might have deleted the page and lost them. Sorry. What does it mean when an employer asks for another interview after the one that was supposed to be the final interview? How should one prepare for it? And what's its purpose? Now, let me get this into chat. Sorry, that's a little bit messy. Let me put it in so it's clean. There we go. So this was supposed to be a final interview, and it isn't. And they want to talk with you again. So the reason for it is simple. There may be two or more people competing for this job, and thus they aren't sure who to choose. So they're looking for a reason to break the tie between the two or three of you. Another reason is something surfaced in the interview that gives them reason to hesitate. I wasn't there, so I don't know. How should you prepare for it is the next part of the question. Now, it starts off with you doing a mental review and seeing where the rough edges were in the interview, because those are going to be brought up in the course of you meeting with them. Don't care if it's video or in person, they're going to go back and hammer points with you to figure out whether you're qualified for this job. As a result, your job is to review what was on the interview so that you're ready to answer questions about it. You want to also be selling yourself and your qualifications, expressing interest in the role, connecting with the interviewer or interviewers. Because when firms hire, competence is only one thing they look for. They look for self confidence, character, chemistry, maybe a little bit of charisma, because charismatic people always do better than people who aren't charismatic. That you care, that they can connect with you because they want to trust you. Maybe they don't trust you and you have to figure out where it broke down for you. I don't know. Again, I wasn't in the room with you, but you were. So pay attention to that so that in this way you can review where the rough edges might have been that may be causing them to open up the doors to someone else so that you can address their concerns or worries and get on board with this firm. Okay? Got another question, and I think I'm going to do one more after this and call it a day, unless someone puts questions into chat. How do I stay positive, motivated, and sane during the job hunting process? Um, you probably saw I made a little bit of a face there. And if you didn't, I did. Now, positive. Well, I want you to start thinking about your life successes. Someone mentioned to me a post I put up a year ago that helped her. And it was one where I talked about 5 ways to get ready for the new year. And it starts off with asking you to write down 25 successes that you had in this year. And I do that for the simple reason that most people think of their failures and they don't think of their successes. I want you to think about the things that you did well, and they don't have to be professional. They can be personal. You know, I was afraid to file my taxes, but I did it anyway. It's one version of it. Another version is I got a pet for myself. Now, you may think that's kind of trivial, but it was a success. You could have had a professional success. You got to a fourth interview until they chose someone else. That still was a success if all you've gotten to was one or two interviews. Consider yourself fortunate and start off by focusing on your successes, not your failures. Learn about where the search broke down. One of the ebooks on the front page of jobsearch.community is diagnosing your job search problems. It's a great little PDF. You can get it at jobsearch.community. It is free. Go enjoy it. Excuse me one second. I forgot to turn the ringer off on my phone. I want to do that. So download that because that will help you figure out some of the places where your search could be breaking down. It's very simple. It really is effective. It's helped a lot of people. I've sold that in and of itself to people for years on Amazon. If you want to buy it, you can buy it on Amazon for a Kindle or as a PDF at my website, thebiggamehunter.us/books. And it's available there inexpensively, but it's available for free at jobsearch.community. Go over there, download it. It will help you. So I'm going to do one more question and then call it a day unless someone else um, puts a question into chat. Unfortunately, no one did today, and no one did so far. And this will be my last question for now. How do you know your final interview went good? Went well. How do you know if you're hired for the position? I'm going to change the grammar here. Went well. So, how do you know you're hired for the position? Well, let me start with the second part of the question first, and that's to say you know when they extend the offer to you. Up until that point, you're not hired, and once they extend the offer to you, it's not an official offer until it's in writing. So you know you were hired for the position once you have the offer letter in your hand and you've done what's required to finalize it. Some firms have a requirement that you sign it and send it back. That's why I say that. So again, um, that's how you know you're hired. Now, how do you know it went well? Simple. I have this thing called the headhunter's secret to knowing you did well on an interview. And it starts off with the premise of the more they talk, the more they like you. So the interview might start off normally with them asking you a lot of questions and you answering their questions, and you see the smiles on their face, and they like you. It's very clear they like you. And now they start doing all the talking. Why? Because they're really trying to persuade you that this is a great opportunity. They are selling to you. And with that, um, it's a signal that you did well on the interview because they're selling to you because they want to extend an offer to you. That's how you know you did well. So I hope you found today's show helpful. I'm Jeff Altman. Visit jobsearch.community. There's a lot there on the front page to help you. In addition, if you become an insider member for $49 a month currently, you get access to all my video courses, books, and guides. Plus, you can ask me questions to which I'll normally respond within 24 hours. Become an Insider Plus member. You get all of that. Plus, we'll get on 2 Zoom calls a month. Finally, become an Insider Premium member, where until 12/31 at, I believe it's 11:30 p.m. If you become an Insider Premium member, you get a discount, so it's $2,500. I believe that translates into $833 per month. If I'm slightly off, I apologize, but it's $2,500 per month, or $24.99, and you get access to all my video courses, books, and guides. You can ask me questions through the site. You can get me on a Zoom call or 2 during the month. I want to help, and we'll do individual or group coaching. Have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great. I'm sorry. Again, next week we're going to be meeting on Wednesday, the 27th, and the following week on January 3rd. Take care.